Hello, we're going to do a quick video. I'm not sure how quick it'll be. We're going to do a video on rekeying a Kwikset lock set. Why Kwikset, other lock sets can be keyed. I have a kit for the Kwiksets. Kwiksets are readily available to me at the local big box store, and they're priced effectively. So we're going to use Kwikset locks. There are other locks that you can do similar to, but we're going to focus on the Kwikset system readily available. So first we need tools to do this job. So the tools we're going to use, I bought a kit on Amazon, and that kit came with some tools and pins that we're going to need to rekey. So when you're dealing with a pin and tumbler lock system, pin length defines whether or not the lock's going to open or close. So if you look at any key, take a key, look at any key, the height or the depth of cut on the key determines whether or not this pin will make the correct alignment. And so what we're talking about here is, with Kwiksets, is a 5-pin system, and it's called a pin and tumbler system. So you need to make sure that you're getting a pin and tumbler lock set if you're going to apply this method, and we'll show you what that's all about. So what comes with the kit that I bought? That kit comes with pins. Comes with pins that are numbered, small bags of pins that are numbered from 1 to 6. And then it also comes with new top pins. Hope you don't ever need top pins. If you do, there was an error made. I'll show you what that was. It's not a train wreck, but it can be challenging. So here we go. We have 6 bags of pins. Each one of these pins is a different height. I've actually gone through and measured mine with a micrometer. And then they're written on there the thousandths equivalent. For example, this is a 195 thousandths height. And I do that because I've actually reused pins that come out of the old lock and put them back in the bags. But don't necessarily have to do that. They're cheap enough. You could just pitch them if you want. It's not an unreasonable thing. So this set is available on Amazon. I will put a link in the description. If you'd like to go look at this one, I think this one was about $15. Pretty inexpensive, and it's effective for pretty much all Kwikset rekeyable lock systems. There's 3 kinds of lock systems we're dealing with when you go look at buying Kwikset locks. Most locks actually, but with Kwiksets for sure. The ones that we bought are called pin and tumbler. It's a pin and tumbler lock system. You can change the pins and rekey the lock. Simple. If you go to the website, in this case it's the Cove Venetian Bronze, you go to the website and it'll tell you if it's a pin and tumbler system, if it's called secure key, or it won't mention anything if it doesn't have pin and tumbler. So what we want to do with this pin and tumbler, so whenever I go specify what lock I'm going to buy at my local big box DIY store, I go and look on the Kwikset Kwikset website at the specific lock I'm looking at and make sure it says pin and tumbler. Now there are the option of these quick key rekey systems. They're fine too. I'm not saying you shouldn't get those. I like doing it this way for a few reasons. One of which is it's pretty easy, pretty friendly to do. It's not nearly as fast as the quick key system, but I'm afraid the quick key rekey system may not be quite as secure a technique as this particular one, because this one you have to physically go in and change the pins in the lock. The other one is externally programmable. If it's externally programmable by the customer, it's externally programmable by somebody with poor intentions, a thief. So anyway, we're going to go with this system. We're going to show you how to rekey. So if we look in this particular box, we're going to rekey. This is a double security. It's just got a lockable knob. as well as a lockable deadbolt. Now this particular one is a single cylinder deadbolt. If this were a double cylinder deadbolt, it'd be keyed, get this right, it'd be keyed on both sides. So you'd have a key on this side, you'd have a key on this side. So that's a double cylinder. Still totally rekeyable. You just have to do both cylinders inside and outside to the same pin system. So now this set of keys came with this lock set. It's critically important that you have the keys that came with your lock set. If you don't have the keys, you're going to struggle to rekey these things, and you'll see why in a minute. And then you'll also want the key you want to key it to. In my case, that's going to be this one. I have six doorways, 6 lock sets. They're all keyed to the same key. It's a lot of doorways, I know, but we have 2 doors on a storage building outside, a door on the back of the garage, door going into the garage, door going out in the backyard. So on and on it goes. So we have a lot of good reason to rekey our locks to get them to all to the same. Alright, so let's get started with the deadbolt system. We're going to move the knob block out of the way and start with the deadbolt. Wow, thing coming all apart. So here's your deadbolt as it would mount. This is your internal lock, unlock, and we're just going to slide that right off. And then this bezel, decorative bezel, well, secures it as well, but don't need that right now. And so all we need here is the cylinder. So first thing we want to do is we're going to take our pick, and in here is a lockable C-clip, or keyed C-clip. The C-clip goes from here to here. Oh, it's open, excuse me, from here to here. Comes around, and there's a key that goes into this I don't know what you want to call it. It's what lets this thing lock, extension, we'll say. In order to get that out, I'm going to hook my pick in there and pull that off. Very easy to do. There's your keyed C-clip, and then there is your lock extension, and then here is where you need to be careful. This is your lock cylinder. So this, underneath this cover right here, is where your springs and top pins rest. Your springs and top pins, if you were to just pull the cylinder out, they will drop down, fall out, and it's doable. You can get them back together, but it is a chore, so that's why we have a follower. So what you do is you take the key that fits that lock, turn it about 45 degrees, nothing magic there, just turn it out of line with the top pins. Take your follower and then basically push the cylinder out. There you go. Now, had we just pulled it out, we would have parts flying out of this thing. And then what you'll notice, set this aside, what you'll notice now is pins. And hopefully you can see on the video, the pins are aligned. There was not one of them's higher than the other. If I go and take the key out, you'll notice how they're going up and down. I take the key out, they're now all down inside. This is how the lock works. The top pins and springs, the top pins shove down into these recesses now, and that holds the lock from turning. So your key must realign those pins so that your top pins are now out of the cylinder and you can turn it freely. So this key we're not going to use, so these pins we're also not going to use, so we can get rid of these. Like I said before, in my case, I'll measure them with a micrometer, refile them, keep them, but they can just as well be thrown away. So there you go, 5 pins out. Now we must determine, the old key here, we must determine what the pin heights will be for the new key. It's fairly easy to do. Let me show you how. First, we take the key, look at the key. On the key, this is the shoulder, okay? The shoulder, and we're going to measure starting at the shoulder. We're going to measure our way to the end. Now there are 5 recesses, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 recesses on this key, or 5 areas to measure. The shoulder we don't measure, we measure below, beyond the shoulder, and we count it, write the number from shoulder to tip. So in this case, let me show you how you do it. You take your key gauge, and we're going to slide it in. This is the shoulder, just past the shoulder. Let me see here. There we go. So just past the shoulder is this first recess, and this one is a 5. It's just slightly to the right of the 5, but it's a 5. Different gauges work different ways, so be very careful. 5. Going to go to the next height, next recess 2. To the next one, 5. The next one, 3. And then the last one, 4. 5, 2, 5, 3, 4 is our key code. 5, 2, 5, 3, 4. Now, write that somewhere. Write that down somewhere. Like this. 5, 2, 5, 3, 4. And this is from the back part of the key, the shoulder to the tip. The shoulder to tip. And so that is our key code. And we'll check that key code, by the way. We just want to assume we're right, and I'll show you how we're going to do that. So we've gauged our key. We now know what the right pattern is. Now, take your little bag of pins, go through and get those numbers out. You need a 5, a 2, a 5. In this case, we have them. 5, a 2, a 5, a 3, and a 4. And I've set out 2 sets, one for the deadbolt and one for the knob set. So we've got our numbers. Now we just need to reverse the situation. And what I'll do here to show you is I'm going to go ahead and put this key in. You don't have to have the key in when you load this thing with the pins. You can leave them out if you want. I just put them in so I can see that the heights are correct. So we go 5, 2, 5, 3, and 4. And you notice we went from shoulder to tip, shoulder to tip. Now, how do I know if I've got it right? That's how you know. You should see a slight protrusion, and they should all be even. If they're not even, let me show you. Let me put another key in here. So if I go back to the original key, and I put it in, they're very obviously not even. This one's way high. This one's a little low. These are low. So you see that that is not correct. But with the new key that we're keying it to, that is correct. You should see that level of protrusion. And if you look at this as a circle, these pins meet the outer edge of that circle. Okay? So this is correct now. We're ready to go in. Let me explain something. If you get this incorrect and you put this in, it's going to tend to want to jam itself, and you're going to have to pull this plate off, pull the top pins and springs out, and you don't want to do that. So try to get this correct, first run out, and just check and make sure that your heights look correct, considering this radius on the cylinder. So we're going to push this in. Now when we push this in, we're going to push the follower out, and the follower, which is currently holding the top pins in place, will now be replaced by the cylinder holding the top pins in place. So we'll just push it right on in there, like that. And now we're good to go. Let me, so how do we know we're good? Well, if I push this in and I can turn, then we're right. If I didn't have the right pins in there, we push this key in, it would not turn. I can show you. If it's not correct, here's the other key, right? Nothing will not turn, okay? So we know it's right. Now then, without letting this slip back out, we're going to put this lock extension back in there. And if you'll notice, on the lock extension, there's a slot. That slot is where this this key on the C-clip goes, right? So we're going to put this in here. The slot's rather large, it's hard to miss. And we're going to put this C-clip on. Apologies, it's hard to see from my hand. So, but you see we got the C-clip started, and then we just want to make sure that this key falls down into that lock extension. So this will turn, right? But it will not turn all the way around, and it now will not come out. So we can put everything back together. And there you go. So it's now complete, and the winner is, the key is that this key, not the key, the winner is that this thing works. And let me hold this thing correctly. And it does. And it turns, and then at the right place, you find it, there it is, it pulls free. So there you go. So that is now keyed correctly. We can put this on the door, and the same key that works the other 5 doors on the house will work this 6th door on the house. So there you go. That's the deadbolt. Now the knob set. Now the knob set, again, take it apart. We don't need this part. This is the magic one with the keyhole in it. And so what do? Well, first, you'll notice this little black tube that comes out of here. This is similar to the extension on the deadbolt. This is what inside here, a little white plastic piece, which is your lock. So whenever we lock the door from the inside, wait a minute, let me get this, there you go. So we lock the door from the inside, this little knob on the inside turns and locks the door, okay? So we need to pull this black piece out. How do you do it? Well, first you need to line up this square piece, and you can do it several ways. Where's my pickle fork? We can put the pickle fork in this end and turn it, and hopefully you can see as we're turning it, this little black flat spot right here. We're going to line it up to where it's flat across there, like so. Now once it's flat, inside here there is a see if you can watch this and do it. There's a piece of metal, a tab that sticks down right there, and we need to push that tab in, and that's going to unlock that black stem. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our pickle fork, we're going to put it against there, and we're going to push in that tab. When we push in that tab, that's going to free our stem to come out, just like so. I'll show it to you again. So using the end of your pickle fork, this is the unlocked position. It's probably the way you'll find it. It may be in this position, which is locked. That's fine. You want to look for the center, such that this part right here is flat across. Okay. Then, taking your pickle fork, compress this tab that's sticking down completely, and then simply lift this little guy out. Sometimes it will turn on you, and that's okay. Let me turn it back square to where it's square. About like that. And then we'll put a pickle fork back in here, compress that tab, and then lift up on the black lock extension. So there you go, got it. It's out. Now you'll notice that there's this, call it a door, whatever you want to call it right here, right? That's what retained the black extension in there. What we're going to do is we use our pickle fork, we use this end, and we're going to go in there at an angle, get underneath that, and lift it. Once it's lifted, we can stick our tool, our pickle fork, the rest of the way in until it bottoms out. Once it bottoms out, you're good. Now, to pull this out, just give it a little soft tap. There you go. And then you can remove the pickle fork from there. So we now have the cylinder, lock cylinder, out of the knob. So what next? We're going to get our key, the original key that came with the lock, just hasn't been rekeyed, and we're going to install it. We're going to turn it 45 degrees as before, 45-ish. Just turn it off of so it's not centered on the top pins. And then we're going to use this end. Do not use this end. If you use this end and you happen to go in like this, your top pins can drop down on you, mess you up good. So use this flat end. You'll notice it's also conical on the end, so it fits over the end of the cylinder. Okay, so then we're going to just push this through, just like we did before. No, we're not. What am I doing? First, let's pull the C-clip. Sorry about that, guys. So if you'll look, there's a C-clip on the end. It's not a keyed C-clip like the other one was. It's just a standard C-clip. And we'll pull it off first. That'll make that slide out there much easier. There you go. There's the C-clip. Now, go back to it. We need to be 45 degrees. And do this, be very careful. Once you pull that C-clip, in either case, this thing could fall free. So always hold it in until you're ready to pull it out. So we're going to put our follower on there. We're going to go 45 degrees. And then we're just going to push it out. All right. So now the pins, top pins and springs are held in place with the follower. Same situation. See, it's flat across. This set of pins is correct for this key, but we're going to replace the key. So the new key, we're going to get rid of these pins. There we go. Pins are out. Then we're going to put in the new pins from shoulder to tip. So 5, 2, 5, 3, and 4. Is it right? I don't know. Let's check it. You can see they're recessed, right? If we put the key in, they're all flush. Just slightly above flush, but they're where they need to be, right? So let's go ahead now and push the follower back out. Again, we're going to be about 45 degrees to our spring and top pins. And we're just going to go straight in, like so. And then we're going to move our follower away. All right? And then we're going to install our C-clip. Make sure when you put your C-clip in, make sure you're pushed all the way up, because the C-clip engages slots in the tumbler. Okay, so now it can't come back apart. So we're good. Well, this is the new key. New key works. So we have succeeded already. Now we just got to put it back together. So in order to put it back together, it goes back into the knob. And then we reinstall the black lock extension. We don't have to press this back. This thing has a ramp on it, so we'll let it press it back for us, just like so. This is unlock or lock, other way. So now it is keyed. I can put this on. Right, and again you can see lock versus unlock moves that black extension, and we can check it. So right now, if we hold this, the knob turns, key in, and then turn it to lock. All right, now it's locked. I'll put the key back in, turn it to unlock. Turn it to unlock. Hello. Yeah, it's unlocked. So it works. Lock and unlock. So that's pretty much it. You can do this if it's a double cylinder deadbolt. You do the same thing with both sides. Looking at how things are connected, they're connected slightly different in a double cylinder. Pretty straightforward. This is my favorite tool for doing this. Between this and these tools that came from an order from Amazon, I will put the link in the description of the video so that you can see what I bought. There's other kits as well. This particular one was relatively expensive. Nothing fancy. It comes in a zip bag, and just came literally just like this in a packet. So top pins, and then 1 through 6, and boom, and then these were in there as well. This little guy was in there, and that's what you get. That was around $15. So I'm going to stop this here. Hope this works for you. I will save these pins, try to save these pins by measuring them with a micrometer and put them back in the correct bag. That's my choice. They're not worth, it's not a big deal, but just that way I have them when I need them. Now I have 6 locks, all keyed the same. One key gets the entire house except for the front door, and the front door is a Schlage, and so we got 2 keys to take care of basically 7 lock sets. So it's a good deal. Anyway, I hope this is helpful. Look down in the description for the link to the kit. If this is something you're going to do, jump on it. Pretty inexpensive, very effective. Thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, subscribe if you get a minute. Thank you. Bye-bye.